when you first find out about a disease that somebody you love has, you assume that the system will find a cure if there is one to be had. But it doesn't work that way. There is no one who actually spends their day saying, how do I solve the disease? Scientists have to go and come up with discoveries so they can get grants. Drug companies have intellectual property that they need to apply. No one is sitting there saying, how do I solve the disease just in a vacuum, especially for small disease. So that was our job. Make sure we're the brain trust. Make sure we're moving everything forward. And then keep going back to the companies and saying, guys, here's where we are. Now what do you think? As a parent, no one wants to hear untreatable, incurable, fatal for someone you love. All of us have loved ones that have been affected by things. It's part of life. But there's something very different about a child. This isn't a disease that was well known. And so understanding what the issue was a big problem. So how can it be a pretty big disease for a rare disease and still not be known? The issue here was that until they found the gene in '95, they didn't realize this was one disease. They thought the 20, 30,000 people that have it had a variety of other diseases. So muscular dystrophy, for example, often has as their telethon kid an SMA child because people thought it was the same disease once upon a time. So until '95, they didn't even realize it was a disease. And then they realized that it was a disease that affected 20, 30,000 people. But 6 years later, our daughter is diagnosed, which meant that most doctors, when they went to medical school, hadn't even read about SMA. It didn't exist. And so you really had science move at light speed. They found the gene, realized it was a big disease, they found this backup gene, and when our daughter was diagnosed, all this was rushing forward, but it was still pretty early. So you get the call from your doctor saying the test has come back, and this is what your daughter has, and you want to understand, what does it mean? What can I do? What are the implications? And when you're told there's nothing you can do, and we're not sure about the implications, but they're not very good, it's as frightening as you can get. We basically, if you will, put the research in a box with a bow on it so that it was easy for them to unwrap. Drug companies need to make money, and it's easier to focus on big diseases because more people often means more money. In the world today, I think the key issue is that there's risk as well. So if two drugs are equally easy to make, one's for a big disease, one's for a small disease, it'd be crazy if you're a drug company to focus on the small disease. But the argument here was always that there was a real need, but more importantly, there was a really good shot at getting a drug. And so what we needed to do was make the case to people that the cost of finding out whether there was something was low, and the odds were going to be pretty high. So yes, it's a smaller disease, but the odds are better, and as a result, it's actually a pretty good deal for them. My wife, if anything, has been the day-to-day driver. She's smarter than I am, better educated, got an MBA, which I didn't. And so in that sense, has been able to really drive that. We've got 8 scientists who are really among the best neuroscientists in the field, and they're just passionate about this. They really want to make a difference because in their minds, what a way to have a career if you can actually solve a disease. That wasn't what they were able to do before. And so day to day, that's what drives this. From my perspective, I think when I look at all this, what has helped for the overall team, though, is just what you said. It's not just talking about science, not just talking about emotion and saying, help us. It's about being practical and going to drug companies and universities and Washington and saying, here's why this is a smart thing to do, not just a nice thing to do. But look, in many ways, I think what has been remarkable about the journey in the last number of years is that it's been a bit of a marriage of the two. Combining, I think, things that we've learned on the business side, things that I think we're at least more familiar with from the science side, and finding a way to really unite them together. So I think being able to talk the language of scientists, as well as drug companies, as well as Washington, I think has been a helpful thing.